Hi guys, and welcome back to another Genshin Impact weapon review. Today we're going to take a look at another bow. It's a 4-star bow and it's the Favonius Warbow. It pretty much came from the Favonius series. So we already did a video on a Favonius weapon, and usually this weapon share the base stats and the passive. And you can obtain it by gacha and from a quest. In fact, it's from the Musdat Archon quest rewards. So probably, if you did the quest, you have this bow, so every player can have this. The base stats of this weapon are a 41 base attack, with secondary stats being energy recharge. At level 19, this translates to a 454 base attack. That is actually bad because, as we know, it's the lowest a 4-star can have, with 61.3 energy recharge. As we know, energy recharge means that the energy you get from orb, particle, when you kill or hit an enemy, are actually give you just more energy, and energy is suited for you elemental burst. So of course it's very useful. Now, the passive, it's called Windfall. When you crit hits an enemy, you have a 16% chance to generate one elemental orb. This elemental orb will regenerate 6 energy for the character, but this effect can only happen once every 12 seconds. With each refine, this goes down to 1.5 seconds. At max refine, it's a 6 seconds, and the chance actually increase of 10%. So at max refine, you actually have a 100% chance, and a cooldown of only 6 seconds. Now, the main problem of this weapon. Now, let's talk about the good, the bads, because this weapon actually have a lot of bads. Now, the only good thing I can say about the weapon is that the Favonius series, it's all based on energy recharge, and you can see it from the secondary stats and even from the passive. So if you have a character that wants to spam its ultimate burst, or as for example ultimate burst at a very high cost, this weapon is very useful. But then we have the bads of this weapon. First, it has a fucking base attack of only 41, and when you have a weapon that doesn't give you any type of damage boost from passive and from the secondary stats, having such a low attack is very bad. I don't really know why they decided to go with a 41, with a weapon that doesn't give you any type of damage boost, apart from the fact that you can just spam your ultimate burst. But that's not really a very good trade in my opinion. The second problem is the passive itself, and it's a thing that I never liked about the Favonius. I think that the passive need a rework. In fact, at refine level 1, you can proc the passive only when you crit. And when you crit, you only have a 16% chance to generate the elemental orb. And at the end of the day, it just regenerates 6 energy. Like 6 energy is not bad, but it's not really a super huge amount. Like usually an ultimate bust can have a different amount of cost. Usually they are around 14 to 18, and you can see that 6, it's a good amount, but it's not. But in the end, in the grand picture of things, it's a good amount, but it's not really enough to justify this fucking bullshit of a passive, because you need to have a decent crit rate, because if you have a bad crit rate, you will never crit, and if you never crit, you never proc this thing. But if you have a decent crit rate, you can proc this, but you can only have a 16% chance to proc this. So at the end of the day, it requires you to go with a DPS build, because you need to go crit rate, but this weapon doesn't give you any type of crit. Doesn't give you any type of damage boost apart from ultimate spam, let's say. And it's not even good, for example, on support character, because maybe you want to play a support character, and in my opinion, it's not good, because if you want to play a support character for its ultimate bust, this weapon requires you to go crit rate. So you need, for example, to lose a few utilities that you could have gone, for example, with food, with artifact choice, because you need crit rate. So that's the main problem of the weapon. With refining, of course, this increases a lot, so it's actually very hard to not proc this, and the cooldown goes down. But as I said, Let's say that you have a character with 14 energy cost ultimate. Even at max refine, to actually get your ultimate from the passive, you need to proc this at least 7 times. So you, for recharging your without this passive only, an ultimate burst of energy cost of 14, you need 7 proc of the passive. And 7 proc of the passive mean that you need to waste 42 seconds in the best case scenario. Now, 42 seconds is a lot of time. It's pretty much nearly 1 minute. And wasting 1 minute just to get your ultimate burst stat with a weapon at max refine, you can easily see that why this passive is actually not good, and why, for example, the Favonius series is actually one of the worst series for weapon, in my opinion. I think that they need to, in my opinion, this is what they need to do. First, fuck this crit hits have a chance. Hits have a chance. When you hit an enemy, you have a chance. They could, for example, lower this chance and lower the energy that you get. So you don't need crit rate, you just need to have a decent amount of you just need to have a bit of luck, because this coin can go down and energy you get can get down. Or okay, your crit rates generate orb, but make me generate more energy than 6. I don't know, maybe improve this with each refine, improve this of 1, 2 every level, just make this a little better, because the Favonius series is actually, in my opinion, one of the worst in the entire game, as I already said. Now, let's talk about the characters that may want to use this weapon. Amber. I personally don't think that this weapon can be good on Amber, simply because Amber ultimate is not super powerful. Their power came mostly from charge attacks and the bunnies. If you have Constellation, if not, Amber is fucking useless. Then we have Diona. Diona could benefit from this weapon because she's a support character, and so you don't use her for damage, you mostly use her, for example, for her shield, for her healing, or simply to apply cryo and other things, and this could be good on her, because you get energy recharge. The only problem is that you need to have crit rate for at least proccing the passive, and you can see why that's a problem, because for a support character like Diona, you need to go 10, for example, with a Circle of Logos crit rate, when you could have gone with healing, with go for energy recharge, for example, on the Circle of Logos, and so fuck this weapon altogether. It's a bit of different choice you can make, but this could be decent on Diona. Then we have Fish. I don't know why you want, I personally would never give this weapon to Fish, simply because Fish ultimate, it's not super powerful, it's decent, and just because it's decent because it reset odds, but it's not but you lose a bunch of damage just to have a shitty energy recharge that is not useful on Fish, so this weapon is bad on Fish too. Ganyu, it's a god tier DPS, she doesn't want this shitty weapon simply because you lose a bunch of damage, and Ganyu ultimate ability is not even a good amount, the major source of damage. The charge attacks is what destroy enemy, so this weapon is garbage on Ganyu too. On Tartaglia, same things. Tartaglia is actually a very good damage dealer. His ultimate ability is good, but like he doesn't need this weapon. He can already regenerate a good amount of energy, and you, as I said, when you equip this weapon, you just lose damage. And on a DPS character, you don't want to lose damage. And then we have Venti. Personally, I will not even use this on Venti, because okay, Venti can be used as a DPS and maybe a support DPS if you want, but as I said, you lose a bunch of damage just to get a bit of energy recharge, where you could probably just, if you want energy recharge, you could probably go for a different weapon, a different set of artifacts, so it's this weapon, it's not really good on any character in my opinion. The Favonius series has one problem, is that they need some buff, especially maybe this one, because I don't understand why a weapon that already have no damage bonus whatsoever have one of the worst base attack in the entire game. Like, it's like, yeah, this weapon sucks already, let's make it even worse. But That's why, sorry, but that's my hate for the Favonius series. Let me know what you think about this weapon, and maybe what they can fix for this weapon. And that's all for this video. See ya on the next one.